Hey, welcome back. This is Cavallo from datingadviceguru.com. Today we're talking about how to find the perfect guy and get him to marry you. Yeah, this week I decided to go for something a little more grandiose to talk to you about. If you want the perfect relationship and the perfect man to have it with, you got to know how to get in here and into his heart. And that's why I want to give you 5 steps to find this guy and get him to make a commitment to you. Now, the first step is know what you want first. The key to finding the man you want is to know what it is you're looking for. After all, how are you going to know if you found him if you don't know what it is that you want or need? But less than 1 in 20 women that I talk to, it's actually a lot smaller, has anything close to a list of the qualities she wants in a man. And I believe that there's a reason for this. I believe a lot of women make a subconscious choice to not decide on a kind of man she wants, or at least certain specific qualities, because that means she has to eliminate the men that don't match that criteria. And that just makes her list even smaller, right? But the problem is that you're going to risk catching a whole bunch of skanky fish in your net if you cast that net too wide. So you need to have 2 lists. One is a list of must-haves, the things he has to bring to the table with no excuses. And list number 2 is a list of things that are nice to have. Those are the things that would add spice and kind of mutual interest to your relationship. Not as critical, though. Find him step number 2, don't compromise your list for convenience or out of panic. This is the other part of the first step I gave you that is pretty darn important, because all the women that do have an idea of what it is they're looking for would abandon that list at the very first guy that actually does make a commitment. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to give up what it is you really want just to jump into a convenient relationship. And of course, your lists are in constant evolution. They're constantly going to be updated and changed. So just keep that in mind. Find him step number 3 is keep your options open. One of the first things a woman wants to do when she finds a worthy candidate for a relationship is to lock him down. I got to pin him down and make him a sure thing. Now, what that usually does is it makes her stop hanging out with her friends. It makes her start spending all of her available time with him. It makes her neglect the other areas of her life, and then she usually stops dating other guys. Now, that last one is really important. When you stop dating other guys, you're removing everything that helps you in a relationship. When you're dating other guys, you can fuel the challenge that a man needs to bring out his best. You'll have more than one guy that you'll be able to compare to and see the good and bad. You'll feel more relaxed around him, and he'll sense that. And you'll have an emotional buffer if one of the guys isn't living up to what you need. Switch over to the other dude. Step number 4 is keep your eyes open. Let's face it, we're all on our best behavior at the start of a relationship. That person that we are trying to become or trying to impress the other person with is a good person. It's the person we aspire to be. But after a while, you got to let it down and get real with him. Eventually, he's going to see the real you, with or without your help. It's inevitable. And if you think that putting on a false front and pretending to be somebody that you're not is going to make him more interested in you, no, he's only going to feel more betrayed when he finds out that's not the real you. Oh, and a little note here, you do need to keep your eyes open for him as well. You want to be able to read him and know what's going on in his experience along the way. I'll tell you more about how to do that in just a minute. And finally, step number 5, when the time is right, make him commit to you. There does come a time when you have to be willing to pull the trigger and get him to commit to you. Now, how do you do that? Well, first of all, you have to make sure, be sure. I mean, if you did step number 1 earlier and you've got that good list of qualities, well, you're going to be pretty sure or reasonably sure that this guy is a good fit for you. Another step to getting him to commit is to choose well. Now, of course, you can still have a really great guy, but not make the best possible choice if you didn't keep your options open. So remember what I said, you got to keep those options. And finally, to get him to commit, you got to keep it real. Remember when I said to relax a little bit more when the time is right and show him the real you? Well, if he's showing signs of getting serious, then you need to gradually reveal a little bit more of who you really are. Now, if you'd like to know how and why men decide to commit to a woman wholeheartedly and without fear, I've made a very short little presentation. It's a great video presentation about the love law. What is the love law? Well, it shows you how to use something that I call the Cupid effect. Shh, don't tell anybody about this. This is something that most women have never heard about before. So go watch that video over at datingadviceguru.com/commitment. And while you're at it, like this video before you go, and I'll be talking again soon. This is Cavallo from datingadviceguru.com/commitment. As always, live and love with passion.